Just checking the volume levels. Put some fuel in the aeroplane.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
End up adding Graceland to the flight plan, but to be honest with you, the modeling on it is so bad, I'd say let's just skip it.
Yep. If we get there in plenty of time, there's no harm, is there?
Yeah, good evening, chaps.
Evening, Joe.
Hi, John.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Dave.
Downtown Memphis looks pretty good. The pyramid there seems like it's well done, but Graceland, not so much. I guess we could take the drone camera to the jungle room.
Guys.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, David.
Hi, Bill. Maybe I should have said hey, Joe instead.
Hey, Joe, where are you going to go? What are you going to do with that gun in your hand?
I listened a lot to Hendrix yesterday. That was sweet.
Yeah, I got a steady diet of that as a child. Yeah, quite enjoy Hendrix.
Yeah, wonderful.
I don't think you can beat it all along the watchtower.
I agree. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Little Wing as well. I'm going to be flying the Iris PC-21 tonight to second flight I do. The Iris one. The demo and so whatever it's called, it was terrible. The Iris one is pretty good.
Yeah, like Peter, I'm taking a break from the DA-62.
Yeah, good aircraft though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to fly.
I'm just trying to remember where everything is in the Skymaster, is it called? The Cessna 337?
That the push-pull job, Jonathan.
Yeah. I can't remember where the cowl flaps are.
Evening, Harris.
Evening, Dave.
Oh yeah, that's
Good morning. Peter stayed too long in Tasmania. He's got
Good
COVID.
evening all.
Who's got COVID, did you say?
Peter thinks he's got COVID.
Oh.
Not flying with us today or tomorrow. He's off colour.
If I remember, he was a bit poorly last Sunday.
Aha, I found the cowl flaps at last. Thanks to the chat room on YouTube, they told me where they were.
I was going to say, are they not beside the cowl?
Good evening all.
Evening.
Hello, hello.
So wind is out of the east at 4 knots, so it's not going to make much difference for taking off.
Depends how much you take off. Get a nasty wind chill.
Good evening, I've got.
Evening.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, it's a bit cold in the southern U.S. this fine day. I think we're at -7 Celsius today, so it's cold.
No, thank you, Joe.
Might have to put a vest on for that temperature.
We're looking at 28 degrees Celsius today.
I put a post up on Facebook asking the Canadians to come get their weather off my lawn. So far to no avail. Although the beautiful thing about living in North Carolina in the U.S. is that at the end of the week this week it's supposed to be up to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So, you know, all 4 seasons in a week.
Rare flights I've actually been to places we're flying very close to.
Yeah, the takeoffs and landings for this one should be pretty straightforward. We've got a bunch of newbies, beginners, and there are no ugly surprises on this trip.
Yeah, I like a straightforward take off. The curvy ones are so difficult.
Just turn left at the pylon.
And mind the tree.
Trouble is taking off here. It's just tempting to go and do a few laps of the NASCAR track, isn't it?
It's a bit tight even
It's
as a
right.
hawk.
It's right next door, Jonathan. It's a long
Yep.
straight. You could land on it. Looks like there's a a bit of a strip or something in the middle of it anyway.
Yeah, there's a landing strip in the middle of the track.
Good evening, gentlemen. How is everybody? There you go.
Particularly you, Eddie.
Very good, thank you.
I've got 2 aircraft off to the right of me. It looks like they're trying to make a Cessna together.
That'll be enough of that, thank you.
Yeah, best just look away and get on with it.
I wonder if it'll produce a little C-130.
It's funny, the AI has had a pretty good go at making the NASCAR track, but then it's gone and put a building in the middle of the start straight.
Yeah, the track configuration is actually accurate. That track is the longest on the NASCAR circuit. So sometimes speeds are like 200 down the backstretch. So they get to moving on that particular piece of real estate.
Well, I'm doing 340 at the moment, so, you know.
I guess you go to the top of the qualifying pole, Joe.
Yeah, I never make the corners though. Okay, down the straight.
And well, with the winds being rather benign, let's all take off at runway 22.
Affirmative.
That way, I guess if you want to peruse the track, you can do so.
Just going for a close look now.
I am perusing as we speak.
For those of you who normally participate in the Monday evening flight, Peter has reached out to me and asked me to host tomorrow evening, so we will sojourn on in his honor.
It's got the banking in as well.
Morning all. Voice check, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
How are you coming along with your writing project, Jonathan?
Slowly. I released a few different procedures that people had asked for recently yesterday. So it's funny, I sat down at the simulator to have a fly and ended up writing a CJ4 startup procedure and a 172 startup procedure, and then I realised I could do the 152 off the back of that quite easily, so I went on and did it.
Quick search and replace.
Well, it turned out it wasn't, but that was the idea when I started it. But yeah, it hadn't occurred to me before that the starting checklist in several of the stock aeroplanes in Flight Sim is actually pretty shocking. And obviously there's no documentation for them.
That or the documentation that was written for them is so difficult to scan. One of the things that I'm doing is in February I'm doing an every other Saturday with the DC-3 And I'm now in the middle of writing a guide for that plane because I don't like the way the original documentation's laid out.
Yeah, and it's actually wrong. I had after I did the first look video on YouTube about it ages and ages ago, I had 2 DC-3 pilots write emails to me explaining how you did it with the real thing, and it was very different than any of those checklists that were with the, the simulated version.
Yeah, I managed to get my hands on an Army Air Force pilot training guide, so I'm going to use that for making sure I dot the I and cross the T.
A lot of it was to do with just ignition, and they were saying, yeah, the instructions that were in the checklist in the game were a really great way to start a fire.
Yeah, by cracking the throttle open.
Oh, not just that, just the order of doing things, and it was just flat out wrong.
Good
They said
evening,
it.
mic check, please.
Good evening. We can hear you.
Thanks.
I should say 5x5 really, shouldn't I?
I should hope so. By the way, you've got a great French accent.
So when people say 5x5, what do the 2 5s actually mean?
Readability and signal strength.
And okay, further than that then, what do you actually mean by readability versus signal strength?
Well, you can be perfectly readable, but not very loud.
Right, so signal strength is volume.
Or you can be very loud and totally unintelligible.
Well, that's me most of the time.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's me on a good day.
So, in amateur radio terms, 5 and 5. So the first 5 is your readability. Second 5 is your signal strength.
Right.
But in amateur radio terms, we use up to 9 for strength. So if it was a really strong clear station, we'd say the 5 and 9. But if you equate that to the aircraft, it's 5 and 5 would be top of the shop.
Okay.
But we might have an aviator on here, perhaps. We can define that.
So basically you should mention each time the 2-digit. One for readability and one for the signal strength, right?
Yeah. So that's why you get 5s, reading your 5s usually.
Okay, that's odd, because in the French translation it's like if I would say 5 out of 5. So it's basically like if you compare the first digit compared to the second one.
Yeah.
I'm getting dizzy now. Can I stop going around the track, please?
Tell you what, trying to stay on that banking is really difficult.
Yeah, I was watching you earlier.
Sliding all over the shop.
Good evening, people. Saying hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Quick question, are we in Southeast Asia on the network wise?
It's a server required, yes.
I'm only seeing one other plane, so I'm wondering where everyone is.
They're all around the racetrack at the moment.
You're at the right airport. Talladega Municipal.
That's the one. If you turn labels on, you'll probably see lots of people all of a sudden.
I've got labels on, I only see Fishy Empress 2. That's what I can see.
No, I just turned labels on. There's about 50 people in the around the area.
maybe the server capability we had some, I mean, the problem we had sometimes. You cannot display all the names.
Maybe.
Sometimes if you change to another server and then change back, they'll pop up.
Yeah, it's not the most reliable system in the world.
I suppose I'll go ahead and get the talkie bits out of the way. It's about 7 minutes to the top of the hour, so we'll be departing runway 22 today. We're taking a tour across Alabama into Tennessee to Memphis. If this is your first time flying with us on Virtual Flight, we have 2 regularly scheduled programs on Sunday evening and Monday evening. Anyone is welcome to schedule a time for a group flight at their convenience. Please add something to the events calendar. We'd love to see what you would like to do. Friendly group. If you're on Discord, please no bad language, no colorful metaphors and jokes. Keep it clean and family friendly, and have some fun.
And this is going live on YouTube, so yeah, it's just to reinforce that.
Once we depart Talladega, our first stop is Gadsden Municipal. It has an ILS if you're so inclined, runway 24, and the frequency is 108.35.
Elevation profile says from safe altitude 2.5 for the whole flight.
Yeah, that's what I've got as well.
Yeah, this part of Alabama and Tennessee is flat. Might be an understatement.
It's getting pretty busy over the airfield.
It's 4 minutes till the top of the hour. If you haven't already started taxiing down to runway 22, I suggest we go ahead and get rolling.
case of emergency, you can land on the racetrack. It works.
That was definitely part of the airfield originally, wasn't it? Or an old airfield.
I guess they built this new airport so that the NASCAR teams would have a nice place to fly in and out of.
Yeah, it looks like the original runway sort of went. Looks like it's sort of got buildings on it now, but it went directly into the NASCAR area, didn't it? So that must have been one of the original runways, I guess.
I can't remember if Talladega originally had a dragway too, so that might be the other use for that.
It's interesting, isn't it, how the AI has never understood stands anywhere, you know, with lots of seats.
Probably because AI gets confused when you say it's a stand and where people sit.
Okay, I guess we're setting off then.
I'm well on my way.
Heading off.
Have we figured out a cruise speed to make the distance tonight?
I did this at about 1:30. It took an hour and 35-40 minutes, and then a break time as well.
That sounds
We
about
should be
right
good.
then. Yeah, 130 sounds about right then.
This is a little milder than the normal scenery that we're used to.
It is. So we're going runway 06 at Gadsden, or there's actually no wind at all on the ground.
Yep, Meadow says the wind's calm.
Yeah, either's fine. I mean, if people want to shoot the ILS, they'll be coming in on what, 2-2?
Oh yeah, we can do 2-4, you mean?
Yeah, 2-4.
Yeah, we can go 2-4. Gives us a nice left pattern to go in, doesn't it?
Yeah, in terms of scenery, this is definitely a break between the normal amount of lumpy bits that we usually fly through.
I think it makes a nice change.
I was initially thinking I had a bug. There was no building. But no, it's not a bug. There's no building.
It's a very plain airport.
Oh dear.
I thought you said no bad jokes.
A bad's okay, foul is not. Although that could have been foul, since we're flying around.
Oh, I've lost my GPS signal. That was interesting. The GNS 530 lost its GPS signal for about a minute there. I don't know, is that something they've simulated into it now?
Somebody passed comment the other day, Jonathan, that there's a bug in the 530 at the moment.
There is, with an awful lot of aeroplanes, like all the black squares. They can't guide on the GPS at the moment on the autopilot.
That's right. Thing like that.
Yeah, I've come up with that problem. It doesn't sequence to the next waypoint in the flight plan.
No. Yeah, and even if you engage your autopilot on nav mode with GPS on the CDI, it won't do it. It just carries on, you know, it does roll hold. Okay, so 60 degrees.
Just do a quick runway check.
Comms check.
Yes, we can hear you.
Reading E5s. Much obliged.
If you're curious as to what there is to do in Gadsden, Alabama, this is one of the places where they have the Bassmaster fishing tournament. So fishing is obviously big in the area. The real reason I put this on my flight plan is that my grandfather was born here in Gadsden, Alabama.
I got taken out garfish fishing out here as part of my experience, shall we say, and yeah, that was interesting.
That's a very strange looking fish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of half fish, half crocodile.
Dear.
And basically we were catching it with some sort of prong thing, very very redneck.
Did you get taken out noodling for catfish?
No. Once I saw the garfish, that was enough for me. You're not getting me anywhere near anything else that lives in that water. What they call them gator gar here, don't they? I think that was the name that was given to me at the time.
This is a big airfield, isn't it?
Everything's big in the US, Jonathan.
Yeah, this is only a creek, isn't it?
I'm afraid I've never been into freshwater fishing. The fish taste like crap.
I'm seeing half the planes going backwards. And then forward and
That's
backward.
good. That's time dilation.
Or where they were 5 minutes ago, you mean?
No, it's because you're going so fast, you're seeing time pass backwards.
I think he's talking about LittleNavMap, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe you have the Tenet mod installed.
Oh dear.
Maybe he put a banana peel in the DeLorean.
I got no bugs on.
Should put the names back on.
This is certainly better than flying in the weather in the UK at the moment.
Live weather's quite stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had to turn the labels off. There was that many I couldn't see the runway.
Too popular for his own good at the minute.
Let's get this thing under control.
Right, guys, for those people interested in going to Graceland, so I know Joe's put out a modified flight plan, but seeing we're in the air, here's a couple of waypoints to add to the last leg. Zulu Uniform Papa India November, followed by Bravo Uniform Delta Echo Echo, will take you straight over the top of Graceland.
I'll just follow you guys.
And Jonathan, it's a good opportunity to get used to putting waypoints into our navigational systems. On the trip out to Hobart with Peter, we were doing it all the time.
Yep, it's good practice.
Where we could, you know, to get approaches into different airfields and that. But when we got to Aussie, it was a lost cause because there weren't many airfields in the outback that had any waypoints to reference to.
That was the weather on that last leg was worth the whole trip. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of fun.
It was, wasn't it? And the problem with it, Joe, was we got it 3 days later. Came barreling across the Tasman and we copped it. In fact, I think we're still getting a bit of it now. I know the weather pattern we're getting at the moment's come down from the tropics. Not very pleasant here today. It's very warm, very humid and raining.
Yeah, the terrible weather that we flew through with the Aspen trip actually moved through North Carolina, and we ended up having high winds and some tornadic activity from that front moving through. It was a mess.
He wasn't lying about it being very flat. Beautiful scenery there.
These ridges in the landscape that we're crossing are bizarre, aren't they? They go on for probably 100 miles.
Just noticed that as well.
Yeah, looking at the map, they go on, yeah, about 100 miles long, the pan.
On your right, that kind of horseshoes back as well. There's like one going up behind us and then one coming down in front of us, and they horseshoe on our right hand side.
Yep.
Yeah, they go all the way up the East Coast.
Was maybe an alien ship who had a hard landing and it just ripped all the earth. A heavy one.
Oh, so that's where the Enterprise crashed in that movie.
It suddenly makes sense.
Well, speaking of the Enterprise, we are heading to rocket country, so Huntsville and Redstone. There is a significant amount of rocketry that takes place in this part of Alabama.
That's where the Apollo boosters got their name, wasn't it?
I believe you're right.
Because they got one of the big rocket test facilities out here, haven't they, with all the water damping and all the rest of it.
And a very good space museum as well.
It's one of the few places, I think, that's remote enough within the US where they can run a rocket engine up to full blast and it won't annoy too many people.
Yeah, Huntsville has a large NASA and Department of Defense footprint for sure.
I guess looking out across all this farmland, this is the area that probably feeds America, isn't it?
And there's still quite a lot of agriculture that goes on down here. 150 years ago, this was the home of a lot of cotton growing.
California is mostly the nation's vegetable farms out there.
Yep, and from right where I'm sitting within 50 miles, there's 98% of all the sushi rice grown in America is grown within 50 miles of my house. And the rice farms out in Texas and Arkansas, that's mainly the long grain rice that you see in the bag.
Well, when we lived in Nebraska many years ago, I learned that it was called the breadbasket for a good reason.
Yeah, that's mostly corn and wheat out there.
As far as the eye can see.
Just check your 4 o'clock, Jonathan.
I'll stay early.
My wing's in the way. I can't see much. I'll have to get to the external view.
Yeah. I'll get a bit closer.
Oh yeah, I can see you now. Even the Hawk, I haven't got it installed at the moment, so I've got an A300 by the look of it alongside me.
Dear.
An A300 that's had an accident with a pencil sharpener on its nose.
Yes. So turn and burn.
Do you not leave all your planes installed then?
Nope. I typically only install whatever I'm using add-on linker.
Ah.
I learned a while ago while recording videos that any kind of 3D assets that get loaded in cause stutters. Also, any AI aircraft on the ground at airports cause massive stutters every time, when you get within range of the airport. So you'll be just arranging yourself on ILS or whatever for approach, and you're kind of 2-3 miles out, and suddenly the sim grinds to a halt for several tenths of a second as it loads all of those 3D objects in.
Makes sense.
So therefore I never have any AI traffic on anymore, and I don't bother with any 3D models for anybody except myself. Hopefully 2024 will address all of that with a multi-threaded application that can do several things at once.
And for that you will have to pay.
That's
Probably.
yet to be found out, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if Flight Sim went to a subscription model. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I should imagine a compulsory Xbox Game Pass top sort of thing.
Don't know. It might be included in it.
It is coming to Game Pass.
Well, it's always been on Game Pass, but you've always also been able to buy it outright as a piece of software. But those days are vanishing, I think, for software.
And also from a data perspective, I wonder whether it'll go to a monthly model.
I think it will have to. It made sense while they were doing it. It's probably a research project at the moment to figure out how to do this. But at some point, they must be making a loss on it.
Do we know when 2024 is coming out?
January the 1st.
I heard a rumour it wasn't until December the 31st.
Touche.
They still have a chance to meet the first day of the year if they follow the Chinese calendar. That's the only option.
Flying past him, Beckett Sr. seems to be stood still, in midair.
Not doing 120 exactly.
Yeah, strange. You're definitely hovering over a lake at the moment.
If I recall correctly, when they released the 2020 in the first place, I got it very early because I got up early in the morning of the release date and downloaded it. And of course, I don't think the Northern Hemisphere could, or the guys on the other side of the world, I should say, could, because they were still yesterday. So we got it first. Well, I think we did. It worked anyway.
Yeah, it all seems to have gone very quiet about 2024. I haven't heard anything about it for ages.
I know they've got millions of us hooked on it, so, you know, they'll quietly say, well, look, guys, if you want to keep using it, we're sorry, but you're going to have to pay.
I can't afford another hard drive to put it on.
Does anybody know if 2020 version will also see the 2024 and vice versa?
Nobody knows as far as I'm aware.
So we don't know if VirtualFlight.Online will be moving over purely to 24 or whether it'll be...
Haven't got a clue. We'll figure it out when it happens.
Oh, they would fix that within the sim. Not need transmitter, wouldn't you?
Well, that's the hope.
I'm happy with what we've got.
Well, on the whole, it's working really well these days.
Don't fix what's not broke. Isn't that the rule?
Now, once it's fixed, it's time to move on to a new version so we can fix things again.
And create a cash flow opportunities for our partners, right?
It's all about the dollar.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how much they make out of the marketplace. Don't they take 30%?
It had to be Linden go past me then, upside down.
I just did a flip for you, Dave. Means you hammer me at chess.
Yeah, good game, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, pretty wild.
I've stopped playing chess at the moment. I got sucked into playing far too many fast games, and just the level of my game has dropped through the floor because of it.
I offered Dave a draw and we got down 5 pieces each, but he wouldn't accept.
That was two moves before checkmate, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I had 4 pawns and you had everything else.
I have it and down as I'll win about 6 or 7 on the trot on the 10-minute games, and then lose about 5 or 6 on the trot.
Yeah, it's difficult to stay consistent.
Never played the game and too old to bother to learn now.
The best game in the world, I think.
I just started Magic the Gathering at 43.
We got some of that at Christmas.
I watched a little 6-year-old girl play a master, and she got him. She lost, but it got down to the last pieces. You know, she wasn't annihilated or nothing. She held her own.
Yeah, we got
windscreen.
We
There's
got
a
some
movie-
magic. So go on.
There's a movie on Netflix if you're a chess enthusiast, well worth watching. It's called The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, watched it about 3 times.
It's a great movie, eh?
Yeah, good movie. I think it's based on a real person, isn't it?
No, it's a fictional. It's a book written by Walter Tevis, I think his name is. Yeah, it's very good though.
Is there a sequel to it planned on?
No.
I thought I heard something.
Or if they do, they'll probably ruin it because it'll be typical. You know, get a room full of scriptwriters and destroy the original book.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought there was a season 2 they were talking about coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I heard that too. They'll just invent a totally new plot around the original characters, Jonathan.
I imagine, it'll be something like. Well, they've got lots of stories to draw on, haven't they? Like Fisher and going to Iceland and fighting against his own government and all that kind of stuff. He had Kissinger on the phone, didn't he? Kind of pleading with him to play the game.
Which one way are we going for like that?
This Redstone I'm coming up to, is this where they made the boosters?
I believe so.
Yep. There's still an active military presence there with the Army.
Yeah, it says Redstone Arsenal. Yeah.
So are we going runway 35?
I'd say that looks good.
Sounds good. Now, we were talking earlier about the agriculture in Alabama, and one of the things that I do know that they have a lot of, and we've been flying over quite a few, is poultry and eggs. So all those long, rectangular, skinny buildings we've been flying over are chicken farms.
I did wonder about that, what farm animals those sheds might be for.
Yeah, it's chickens. We also have those, quite a few poultry farms here in North Carolina. And being around one is perfectly awful. They smell terrible.
Seems a lot of detail here.
Yeah, it's got photogrammetry, hasn't it?
Lots of private runways.
Full stop or bump and go?
This is bump and go. Muffled Shoals is our halfway point, or our coffee break.
Go.
Looks like a model of the Apollo rocket over here.
Yeah, they've got one of the big Apollos stuck up in the museum.
run out of fuel, attempting a relight successfully.
So where was the Apollo?
Off
Just
the right
northeast.
of the runway.
Yeah, just northeast. As you come off the end of the runway, turn right into there. You'll see it sticking up.
I'm going to take an unplanned detour then.
About 2 o'clock off the runway heading.
Yeah, I can see it on the hilltop.
Just gone over a rocket. In that arsenal.
I didn't realise there were any Apollos stood up. I knew there were a couple let down in museums. Well, there's a real one let down, the one that was never used, but...
Yeah, it's not the full size Saturn V. It's sort of the the first, second, and third stage or something.
Yeah.
Or Saturn 1. It might even be a Saturn 1.
Oh yeah, there's a few rockets here.
This is actually the campus space camp. And that's a Saturn 1B that's around a little bit. You also see the space shuttle.
Yeah, that space shuttle that's down there, there's pictures of it on the internet at the moment because they've taken the skin off it to renovate it. So the superstructure underneath the skin is sat out on the grass at the moment.
Been there a long time now. They're in 86.
Really hit polygon.
So the character, Dave.
Trust you to find one, Dave.
They're on the approach to this rocket. They ain't got a capsule on.
That'd be an awesome place to go visit.
It is very good. I'd recommend it if you're ever in the area.
I've got an Airfix model kit of a Saturn V behind me in this room.
It's a long way from the launch site, though, isn't it?
Don't forget you'll always pause your aircraft and use your remote view to have a look around.
Okay, so where's the next leg?
Davidson Center for Space Exploration, apparently.
280 degrees. Okay, I'm going to head off 280 degrees then for the next airfield.
Yeah, there's a lot of work being done down here on the Artemis project, and also they're doing hypersonic research here too. My son was in Huntsville during the summer last year. He's a mechanical engineer, and his senior project was something he worked for NASA, and that experience was wonderful. They actually got to talk to one of the engineers that was on the Saturn V program.
That's fantastic.
Well, maybe that little detour made up for being flat.
It's brilliant.
Not dead flat, though, is it? Nice undulating countryside.
Well, it's not Wisconsin flat.
Or Central Valley flat.
Tell you what, these runways aren't very straight. Lots of cars on them as well.
Be interesting to see what the Apollo engineers that are still alive think of the Starship that SpaceX is building.
Probably newfangled.
Very automated, I suppose.
Well, the thing that always scares me when I see SpaceX is the same thing. The Russians had the same, or made the same mistake, that they went and just strapped an awful lot of rocket engines together, and that means there's more to go wrong. Whereas, yeah, the Redstones, they only had 6.
It's all percentage failures, isn't it? Provided you don't get a cascade.
Yeah, but with Starship, they can lose 2 or 3 engines and still function.
Yeah, this is true.
At least that's for the boosters. For the main Starship, I don't think they can lose an engine on that one.
They're belting their heads against a brick wall until some genius comes up with an anti-gravity solution.
Well, I was going to say that, but I didn't like to. If any of the conspiracy theories are true, there's a better engine technology out there, and they're not allowed to use it, which is ridiculous.
Never you mind, Jonathan. I've thought about it for years.
I mean, there's that whole thing, isn't there, about there's no smoke where there's fire. Oh, sorry, there's no how does the saying go about smoke and fire?
There's no smoke without fire.
Yeah, and if it's true, if any of the conspiracy theories are true, then they've had a very good source of energy for thrust for a very long time.
Someone's painted it and shoved it in a drawer somewhere, I suppose.
Or it's deemed as being so dangerous.
Not only that, it would be a total destruction of the world economy, wouldn't it? A lot of cases.
I forget who I heard talking about it now, but it's something I'd never considered. That we think of it in terms of, you could make a craft to get from A to B really brilliantly, but the other thing is you could turn that engine around and turn it into a force field, and you could march across any army and wipe them out.
The whole problem with anything is friction.
This doesn't rely on that.
Energy source.
Well, this is the problem.
That would take a tremendous amount of energy. You'd have to have some airborne fusion reactor, and that's not possible yet.
Well, this is it. This is what the suspicions are, that it has been possible and they've figured it out. But the risk is that you don't use it for an engine, you use it as a force field, and you can't get hit by anything.
Come on, you don't have to go back that many 100 years when people wouldn't get on a locomotive because they thought they would never be able to breathe. That's only 300 years ago.
Wasn't it when the first trains were invented? They thought if they went faster than about 40 miles an hour, your skin would start to fall to pieces.
11 mile an hour, I think, the first warning. And then
Southwest trains still keep to that rule.
It's the next.
I think you're giving them too much credit.
I was talking about 11 mile an hour one.
I still think you're giving them too much credit.
Just realised I'm going the wrong way.
Oh, I see. We helped somebody on a slalom course.
Northwest Alabama is our coffee break.
Yes, I was thinking, I was about to ask you that, Joe.
The IOS is 109.7, if anyone's interested. That's for runway 30.
Why not? It's simple and straightforward.
Sorry, 109.
109.7.
Wonderful, thank you.
There's a big Mazda factory down there. Wasn't expecting that.
I'm just amazed at how red the earth is. So where there isn't grass growing, it's bright red.
Exported it from Herefordshire.
I guess it means there's a lot of iron in the ground.
Would that be the bright red Georgia clay?
It's clay.
It's clay.
Would that be what they got? This is called Redstone?
Oh, there you go. Penny just clunked into the floor. I was just flying along in this Skymaster, struggling to go slowly enough. It didn't occur to me to just put one of the engines to idle or feather it and just use one engine.
They do that a lot in real life on long ferry flights.
Yeah, it would make a total sense. Just get it up to cruise speed and shut one of the engines off. I wonder if the Coronado version has the fuel pump simulated to transfer fuel between the engines. Probably not.
Chimney in the distance there, smoking well.
You must have the We Love VFR stuff on. Because I don't think you see chimneys with smoke.
I have got it, but I haven't got nothing turned on tonight. Not very wide. Mainly because I ain't got none of these airports anyway.
It's the Tennessee River we're just about to come along.
Just crossed it and heading off to pick up the localizer. And a bit hazy out there too, by the look of it.
I think there's a factory down here where they make the balls for Wimbledon.
That's a bit of what they call useless information, is it?
No, Tennessee.
Do they make tennis balls in Tennessee?
Well, they were a bit Tennessee.
Bad jokes, right? Bad jokes.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm waiting for the clunk.
I was with you.
So if you're curious as to why Muscle Shoals, Alabama ended up on the flight plan, Muscle Shoals' claim to fame, there are two very successful recording studios that were located here. Particularly in the 60s and 70s, they were cranking out hits like A Bakery is cranking out rolls. Muscle Shoals Sound and then Fame Studios. There's actually a documentary movie that was made about the two recording studios. So if you're into music, I would wholeheartedly recommend picking up that DVD. It's a fascinating watch.
That chimney appears to be a nuclear power plant.
Belching out radioactive steam.
Yeah, according to this, it's a nuclear plant road, so I'm guessing it's a nuclear power station.
Or nuclear.
Yep, Browns Ferry nuclear plant.
I just turned labels on. There's quite a few of us, isn't there? Can you imagine being the controller here if you saw this lot coming in towards the ILS? Right, everyone in a hold now.
Just going over hundreds of pylons. We've all got wires on.
And how many levels would he stack us up on?
I was going to say, the first people called out would be, right, climb to 8,000 feet, next person, climb to 7,000 feet, next person, climb to 6,000 feet.
Half on left-hand circuits, half on right-hand circuits.
How many stacks as well?
One command would do it, which would be the aerodrome is closed until 2100 GMT. Thank you.
And then the sound of a kettle.
I was watching a thing on the traffic controllers going into Oshkosh. That's eye-opening.
Yeah, that's quite frightening to watch, isn't it?
They invented a system all of their own, didn't they?
It's follow my leader when they're on the cruise on the way there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they've got coloured circles down the runway and which one you've got to touch down at. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they have their own conventions among the packs of aircraft travelling there of how to keep their own distance while they're on Unicom, I guess.
Yeah, and it's pretty much one-way conversation, I think. You don't answer, you just waggle your wings when you're told they can identify you and keep going.
They tell you what colour you are.
Watched a video today from Mentor Pilot or something like that about remote ATC, and some of these places are like 100 kilometers or more away from the airport.
Well, we've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, we have it in Scandinavia as well, several places.
I remember when I was young, I can't remember where I read about it, but the RAF Fairford International Air Tattoo happens on the border of Gloucestershire, near where I grew up. But the ATC for all of the traffic coming in and leaving and on the day is all done from Bryce Norton, which is about 25 miles away.
Well, according to the TV adverts, Luton Airport's controlled from someone's lounge, isn't it?
It is. With Kevin Bacon watching.
That's it.
Well, the whole of British Air Traffic Control is run from Swanwick down on the south coast there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles away from me.
Yeah, I've been to Nats with work. It's they took my phone off me and everything. It's quite strict.
Stephen Gitz.
I was watching a DEF CON a few years ago, and there was a guy injecting fake traffic into the ATC system. That's scary.
It's funny, kind of related to that. I remember the first time I looked at SkyVector on the internet years ago, and I was busy playing with it and thinking, oh look, I can file a flight plan. And just in the nick of time, I realised it was a real flight plan. Oh, I like that username. I can see one of the people in the group is called One to Beam Up. That's fantastic.
Been around for a while, Jonathan.
Real name Scotty.
Yeah, the rest of the red shirts don't have names.
I was going to say, there's that running joke with Star Trek, isn't there? If you go and join the cast and you've got a red shirt, well, you know you're not going to be on there next week, so...
Oh, you're one of them who's going to be killed.
Within 30 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, before the first commercial, yeah.
If Scotty's in the landing party, you're screwed, right?
But can you all remember what, oh dear me, what they call him? Bones' comment was when he checked over the body. Because they always said, Kirk said, you know, how is he? And Bones said, it's worse than that, he's dead, Jim.
And the unspoken one was, you take his car keys and I'll take his wallet.
Yeah. But how many people can remember Star Trekking?
Yep, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
All the famous lines are in that.
Supposedly there was a young comedian years ago trying to make it, and all of his patter was around Star Trek humor, but he was failing miserably, and some bright spark in the audience said, it's humor, Jim, but not as we know it.
Yeah.
You on about the song?
Yeah.
Yes.
Only going forward because we can't find reverse.
That's the one. Star Trekking by the Firm.
Klingons on the starboard bow.
Oh,
Watch out for the pylons on approach, David.
Wasn't that a spitting image thing?
No.
You should look for the Scottish one, the Scottish Star Trek. That's really funny. When they set the phasers to Milky.
Right, runway in sight.
You just watch out for the pylons to your left there, Jonathan.
Oh, I appear to have glide slope mode enabled, even though I didn't ask for it. So I'm on GOR lock. I'll see if it intercepts and starts descending.
Can you recommend a coffee shop here, Joe?
I'm sure there's probably only one, Ellis.
I can see a terminal building over there. I'll head for that.
Yeah, I mentioned the recording studios here in Muscle Shoals. The Rolling Stones recorded Brown Sugar and Wild Horses here.
Actually, their latest album, Hackney Diamonds, is really, really good, actually. I don't know if anyone's heard it at all, but I listened to it a lot in the car. It's really excellent.
Yeah, I listened to some of the songs yesterday as well. It's really good. Really good.
In fact, according to some of the reviews, it's the best album they've ever made. Which, when you consider they're going on 90 and 100, it's pretty amazing.
Time they retired. Gracefully.
For their ages, my word, they're extraordinary.
I'm just letting this Cessna approach on its own on autopilot. It just feels wrong on a nice clear day to let the plane fly itself.
Time to get a copy.
Crikey, there must be about 20 planes here already.
Right, I'm just going to go and grab a coffee. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yep, got to do the same. Yeah, with all these airplanes on the ground, you'd think there's a group flight going on or something.
plane up and running again, I suppose.
It's another, was it 2 stops?
What was your last error?
There's more chicken farms.
Chickens is organized.
One of the things that fascinates me about the States is in a lot of the town, a lot of the towns, there's no curb and channeling on the roads, and there's no footpaths in the residential areas. When we fly over places, I open Google Maps or Google Earth and get the little man out and go down into the streets and have a look around, you know, and it fascinates me that, yeah, a lot of the places there's no curb and channeling on the roads and there's no footpaths.
Yeah, I went to visit my...
Sat in cars riding around.
It's funny you say that. I went to visit my cousin in California a few years back. Well, it's quite a few years ago now, but myself and my other half wanted to go to the shopping mall just across the freeway. We couldn't get there. It was literally 200 yards away, if that, and we couldn't get there. We had to walk about 3-4 miles around to get to it. We could, or drive.
Or drive, yes.
But we would have had to drive to the next intersection, turn around and come back.
Right. You know, America's very car-centric.
It always amazes me, or amazes, sorry, my cousin when she comes over, and we like, the centre of town for us is about 3/4 of a mile away, and we think nothing of walking that. You know, if we need some shopping or whatever, we'll just walk into town. It's just a different world.
Well, Americans have always had cheap cars and cheap gas, so that's...
Yeah, it just...
They don't like to walk.
Changes the way things are planned to begin with, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was always shocked going from was the Navy going from America to over to Holylock, Scotland, catch the sub for patrol, and seeing how much the fuel is over, well, the petrol over in the UK.
Yep.
They're like us, they tax the hell out of it.
Yeah, and initially you see it as a liter, say, well, that doesn't sound too bad, but it's a liter instead of a gallon.
Yeah, I remember when I visited about the year 2000, it's leveled up a lot more than it used to be. But back in about 2000, the cost of fuel for a car in the US was about 1/3 of what it is in Europe.
Well, I think, like us, Jonathan, a lot of European countries collect their funding for road maintenance and that by taxing petrol, you know.
Yeah. But,
we're EVs, unfortunately, electric vehicles, which our countries encourage people to buy without having the infrastructure to charge them. They, of course, don't pay road user charges because they're not paying or contributing to the funding for road maintenance. So the new government's changing that. And as from the 1st of April, they're going to have to purchase what we call road user charges, which is like people that drive diesel vehicles in this country have to do. You have to buy road user charges to buy kilometres to travel, and basically you're paying tax on your travel.
So it's a flat fee and not based on mileage at all then?
Well, it is based on mileage, and this is the system they're going to go to, you see, because by taxing petrol, the amount you're contributing is determined more by the type of vehicle you drive than, like I've got a hybrid, and it uses about 1/3 less fuel than what a conventional internal combustion vehicle does. So you could argue that I'm not contributing a fair share.
The road tax on my little Citroen, which is a diesel, is 25 quid a year. The road tax on my Jag is over 300.
Here you go. So you pay that separately to purchasing fuel?
Yes. That's
petrol. Normally aspirated vehicles here, you pay your... People say, gee, petrol's expensive in New Zealand. Well, it is, but about 2/3 of it are taxes and excise duty. You know?
I think it's more than that here. I think it's like less than it's pence per litre. The rest is tax.
That's right. Do you buy litres or gallons in England these days?
Litres.
How much a litre, Dave?
The cheapest I can buy it when I go to Whipplepen, which Jonathan knows. I stop at a garage there. It's 133 last Sunday when I went through. Round here, it's 149. So huge difference.
Yeah, well, we're 2 to 1, so that'd make it about 280 here in New Zealand dollars. That's about the same as what we're paying at the moment.
But it's the discrepancy. What I'm getting at is, how can a little garage out in the sticks charge so much cheaper than all the garages around where I live?
Because
So
they're
someone-
BP are profiteering.
Yeah.
Someone on the live stream is asking where we're going next. So we're going over to Savannah. So at the moment we're at Muscle Shoals, is it called?
How does it get that name?
It'd be mussels in the river, won't it?
They'd be freshwater mussels, wouldn't they? I wouldn't eat them.
So then, over to Savannah, over to Whitehurst, and then in towards Memphis. And then those of us that stick around, we're probably going to go and dive bomb Graceland.
Got land in the garden.
How many people are going to say thank you very much?
I put the waypoints in. I'm heading there already. Well, I haven't put them in the 750 yet, but I will.
Just going to shoot the TV.
We must be just about due to head off.
What's the codes where we're heading?
Savannah is Kilo Sierra November Hotel.
Yeah.
Whitehurst is Mike 08. And West Memphis Municipal is Kilo Alpha Whiskey Mike.
You can't say tar, it's what?
Oh dear, here we go. So as everybody signs off this evening, they all got to say so-and-so has left the building.
I'll just nip into the loo.
I'll get the burgers on.
Oh my word. Right, 314 degrees, 39 miles to, what was it called, Savannah.
Motor vehicles should not be allowed on the taxiways.
There's a major design failing in the Skymaster, in that if the sun is shining on the autopilot buttons, you can't see what you've pressed.
Has anyone installed the new version of the LittleNavMap VR toolbar? I'm really impressed. So, make huge strides.
Yeah, I've tested it, but not in VR, but it looks really good.
Does it bring new feature, or is it just a standard update?
Yeah, I always found the other one was difficult to navigate around. This one's really easy. You can zoom in, zoom out, move around much more easy and get back. And you can bring in your flight plan. You can see all the legs. You can put data. There's metrics down the bottom where you can see your speed or distance to the next waypoint, distance to final. You can search up airport codes and get the weather for it and so on within the toolbar.
Oh.
So, since when is that update?
It's about a week, 2 weeks maybe.
What's the number on the update?
Honestly, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm running the latest. I'm on 301 beta at the moment.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm on 2.8.12. Well, pretty old, I guess.
That's the same one I'm running. Yeah.
It's not old, that's the previous version. He jumped a lot of numbers. But that in-game panel is a separate app. It's not the LittleNavMap, it's just connected there.
You're a bit low, David.
Okay, wait. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Only a little, or is it okay?
A bit better.
It's loud and clear.
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks.
No, the closer we get to Graceland, the bumpier my landings are. All the passengers are shook up.
Everyone's now desperately trying to think of Elvis songs.
Well, they've got cash machines at Graceland, haven't they? And they show little video clips of him, and you press 1 for the money and 2 for the show.
Oh my word.
So I don't know anymore.
Please do.
Some would say I didn't know any in the first place.
You wonder how much longer they're going to be able to stuck the population, because those that knew Elvis and were part of his regime, well, we're all in our 80s now. There ain't going to be there won't be many left after another few years of people that actually lived in the era.
There's an English company that's producing one of these hologram concerts of his, so that's coming out soon.
But Ellis, he's not dead. He's just at Walmart. Come on, man.
Well, there's that guy in that chip shop, isn't he?
Releasing all his records in vinyl.
Yeah, they're trying to keep them alive, aren't they?
Well, there's an Indian chap in this area. I think he owns a restaurant, and he's also Elvis Schmelvis.
A lot of impersonators, you know, that run around doing these, what do they call them, tribute shows.
Did we see Michael McIntyre last night?
No.
You have to watch it, it's so funny.
He did like his burgers though, didn't he, Elvis? He loved meat tender.
Wow.
Oh, damn it.
Brilliant one.
No, just admit that you've got your browser open. Yeah, the frame rates are far better than they have been recently.
I was waiting for an Elvis punchline then.
I don't understand that one, yeah.
And I'm not getting any of that
tiling.
Scenery tiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started using the FSR2 setting with DX12, and it seems pretty good for me.
The X12 seems stable these days.
Yeah, I haven't tried it since it first came out because it crashed repeatedly when it first arrived, and I never went back to it.
Yeah, I think it had a memory leak.
I can't remember that.
It does make for very shiny spots on your.
Oh dear.
We're going to have to start adding extra rules, aren't we, to ban dad jokes?
Just listen for the clock.
You have to meta tag your videos for dad jokes, Jonathan.
It's all right there. All these jokes are being re-released in crackers next Christmas.
Probably.
Yeah, please release me. Let me go.
Brother was Pinocchio. He had a wooden heart.
Oh dear. So there's no wind on the ground at Savannah, so we can pick a runway. So which one would everybody like to go for?
The long, thin one.
Or the really short one.
Not the short, wide one.
We're going 01, yeah?
Well, information says 161 at 11 knots, Jonathan.
Not on the ground.
Yeah, but we're totally touching and going. We're not landing.
That's a Boeing 247 up here. That's
yeah,
brave.
it's still trying to kill me.
I had a go in it the other day after you'd said about it. I'd forgotten how much fun it is.
Yeah, I met you on the that long leg when
You did?
plane crashed. Yeah.
We went past the tree in Utah, didn't we?
That modern art thing, yeah.
Somebody emailed me afterwards that he was one of the engineers that worked on constructing that tree.
Nice.
Apparently the tree was easy to make. Actually putting it in the ground was the difficult bit because it kept subsiding. They had a nightmare trying to, firm the ground up.
Did the route out the problem?
Oh god.
When these jokes stop, it will be a relief. That's nothing to bark about, right?
The 247D is great fun if you haven't seen it in the sim because you can tune the radios in and it's got 1920s radio stations that you can pick up.
Yeah, and some of them still got Tony Blackburn on.
It's also got the predecessor of VOR navigation where you can only tune in a quadrant of a mast. And you hear a beep sequence that's being broadcast on that quadrant. It's great fun.
It's great fun watching you do it. I can't do it myself. Oh, speaking of Boeings, the B-17 Flying Fortress Redux is out Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
Redux? I've not heard of that one.
It's the remake of the early game of the B-17 Flying Fortress through World War II.
Yeah, I knew there was one in development. Is that the one that you're talking about?
There's 3 in development at the minute. There's the Redux of the old one, the Mighty 100, Bloody 100th, and there's a VR version as well.
Oh, okay.
They're on Steam.
There's a Lancaster coming as well, isn't there?
To this sim, yeah, Lancaster.
Yeah.
But this is a standalone game from years ago. You fly missions and shoot at enemy planes and stuff.
If I remember correctly, I think Flying Iron is also doing a B-17 as well.
Yeah, I think that's the one for this, isn't it?
I will definitely be getting that and the Lancaster. I've been having great fun of late flying the DC-3. I installed that Ductworks mod, and plane definitely behaves a bit more than what you would anticipate from the original release.
Is that a Flight Sim TO mod, Joe?
It was originally released as a part of the 40th anniversary of the sim.
Yeah, the mod's a Flight Sim TO.
Yeah. And the mod is flightsim.to. There's definitely a bit more lag in the controls, which you would expect, you know, a plane that big and heavy.
Yeah, I wish they'd sort of like officially incorporate that into the stock DC3, so it's sort of like official. It doesn't cause any more crashes anymore, or something like that.
Yeah, I've had that mod loaded for about 2 weeks, and I haven't had any issues with the DC3 because of it. But if you're interested in that bird, on February the 10th, I'm starting an every other week. On Saturdays, I'm recreating some flight plans from Piedmont Airlines and flying some of their old historic legs in the DC-3.
Onto Whitehurst.
Someone's asking what plane you're flying.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I haven't looked in on that. I'm flying the Skymaster Cessna 337. I think when they designed the Skymaster, they took a leaf from the book of anybody that's played Kerbal Space Program, where you can improve anything by just adding more engines to it. That solves every problem.
Just make it bigger, more powerful.
Yeah, there's no rocket you can't fix by just adding more rockets.
And Dr. Doolittle did have a hand in the design, I think.
I think it probably flies more like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, in my humble opinion, but that's just me.
It's a very loud plane from external view.
It is. Well, you've got two engines.
Yeah, I had some seat time in it, and I did not enjoy flying that bird. It was very, very loud in the cockpit, too.
When I did the video on the Mitsubishi MU2, is it? There were lots of people that had worked on it that commented on YouTube and said it's the loudest aeroplane they had ever experienced. I think it was to do with the design of the way the propellers fit onto the engine, and just the engineering of it meant it kind of amplifies the noise coming out of the engine.
There is an external noise that is much louder than the PT6s on the Garrett engines. But inside, the old MU2s were very loud inside. But then they put in active noise cancelling from the marquee. The marquee is the newer ones of the MU2s.
Okay.
And so they're very silent and nice inside. So they have anti-sound waves in the cabin itself, and also in the
Posh sports cars do that as well, don't they? With their great big wide tyres, they have noise cancellation inside the car.
Which one?
Oh, most of them. I know all the Jaguars have got it. So they've got microphones all over the inside of the car and small speakers all over the inside of the car. So it's not just to do like, you know, sound from the stereo, it's actually cancelling out the road noise because they've got like foot wide tyres.
Like white noise.
Yeah. But you can't hear it, you just don't hear the noise of the car.
Yeah, take a sign with the 100. Yeah, just like a sign with that.
You can increase the exhaust noise as well.
What's that, ultrasonic?
I don't know, it's loud.
No, you just play the opposite of the sound you're hearing and then it tricks your ears and you can't hear the original sound.
Yeah, look on a scope and they play at 180 degrees out of phase.
Same as noise cancelling headphones work. They just got microphones on the outside of them and they reverse it into your ear and yeah, you put them on and you can't hear a damn thing.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, my kids have got them and I couldn't believe it when I first tried them. I didn't think it was going to work. But it was like instantly being underwater the moment you put them on.
Don't need to wash your ears out.
Don't bother communicating with your girls anymore, Jonathan.
Oh, I don't anyway. Gave up on that a long time ago.
My 19-year-old granddaughter staying with us for 3 weeks over the holiday period, and she's got some noise cancelling headphones, and you can be 2 feet away yelling at her and she doesn't hear you.
Yep.
You got to tap her on the shoulder.
My boys did that many years ago, and we didn't have headphones. They still paid no attention.
Oh, that would be normal for young boys, wouldn't it? Young men.
So a guy called Joseph has just turned up on the live stream. He's asking when 2024 will be released. Some point in 2024, hopefully.
Before the 31st of December.
You would hope.
Nobody knows.
I have a feeling that it's not going to be wildly different than 2020. It might be under the hood, but yeah, it's going to be the same sim with extra bits tacked on.
Kind of like a DLC then.
I would have thought, but they are making some engine changes, so I guess some braking changes that they couldn't do via an update.
What runway are we using at Whitehurst, guys?
I'm going to 19.
I tried to dial in that last airport and I can't find it.
What, M08?
No, was it Kilo Alpha Whiskey Hotel?
No, Whiskey Mike.
Oh, Whiskey Mike. Roger.
Yeah, so Graceland is on the route. It's just the other side of Memphis International, so it should be fairly easy to find.
As I said, I gave 2 waypoints so you can add to your flight plan, Jonathan. That'll take you straight over the top of it. And please don't drop a bomb.
Just go straight over the FedEx hangar. You won't miss it.
I think I'm going to track US 64 into Boulevard and then go down.
Yeah, I'm just following one of the roads and I haven't seen a FedEx truck yet.
Just look for the jelly donut truck. That'll get you there.
Just had a Vulcan bomber go through me.
I just found a road I can follow that'll take me up to a good approach into Whitehurst on 19.
Have you got your Hawk still installed, Dave?
Yeah.
I'll come and say hello then.
I'm not in it at a minute, but I'm in the Barren.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and scare the traffic on the road on the way in, just for something to do.
Yeah, I suggest you collect roof racks. It's quite fun.
You take left lane, I'll take right.
Are you running transmitter, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've thought about getting the Hawk, but I just cannot bring myself to pull the trigger for $50. That just seems to be high.
The Goshawk is quite good as well. The T45 Goshawk, that's not far off it.
Is that half the price?
There's a lot of liveries and variations on it then.
Oh, yeah, I see a Vulcan down there too.
Don't know what you've started here, Jonathan. We'll have the highway patrol complaining.
It's funny, that 247D, if you're not in it, it's kind of causing smoke balls to appear in the air now and again. It's very odd.
Is that the sort of black puffs I keep seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one there.
Yeah, that's actually...
I've turned on the engine failure system. And it's chugging a little bit.
That's actually anti-aircraft, really.
I did wonder. It looks like flak, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Okay, I know airfield spotting, looking for it.
I've got you in sight, Dave.
In LittleNavMap, I got about 3 airplanes in front of me, maybe 4. In the sim, I can see about 20.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that come with us that don't want to socialise.
Well, they might not have headsets, or there could be all sorts of reasons. Or they might not even speak English, and it'd be quite intimidating, I guess.
I've just seen what that's doing to your stream, John. I'm going to change planes because that's putting a black spot right in the middle of your screen. I'll go find something else.
There you go, Dave, and you're 9 o'clock.
Why does it do that? That's silly.
Didn't know you could go that slow.
Oh, yes.
You'll stall in a minute.
Well, I don't know if I had plenty of power.
It's been out of control.
I've got 92% thrust on currently.
Okay, so airfield's off to our left in the trees somewhere.
Looks like quite a few of us are buzzing Highway 64.
Gonna give that Strataliner a go to 307.
Yeah, the TN18 on road will lead you right to the airport.
So that was 95 knots, Dave, still airborne.
You're doing well. I always crash by the time I get down about 100, 110.
Got to have full flaps and full power though.
I'm in pain. Just speed it up.
Q.
That runway just jumped me, I was so low.
Thank you.
I do like the gear animation on your one.
It's quite cool, isn't it?
High speed pass.
see there's an intersection called Elvis.
There's Elvis Boulevard too. And the only problem with those waypoints I gave you is that Memphis International 8 air traffic control aren't going to be very happy with us.
It don't matter.
Right, I'm going to put my autopilot on for a few minutes and go have a swig of my coffee.
Real time's just after 4 p.m. and the sun's getting low. I've changed my time so I can get a better view of Graceland.
It's well modelled in this. I was watching one of the other YouTube channels, MS Flight Plan, something it's called, and I think it's just like a patch of trees.
Yeah, the two airplanes you can make out. The rest of it, I would agree with you, it's not very well done at all. The rest of downtown Memphis is pretty well done, but Graceland was a disappointment. Yeah, the rockets at Redstone are much better for sure.
Ooh, nearly it's a radio aerial. Massive.
It is incredibly flat out here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this plan's gone into extra time.
Actually, if you fly to the Memphis VOR, the route from the VOR to the final airfield takes you straight over Graceland as well. It's Vortec actually, isn't it? I can never get over how well Flight Simulator does kind of the afternoon kind of golden hour light. It's very good at it, isn't it?
It's fascinating watching it change the casting of the shadows and how realistic that looks too, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's very clever.
I'm just concentrating on not hitting the trees.
Crunch.
There are a lot of them, and it's flat.
But I'm trying to get down to tree height on this road, so it makes it interesting.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of that on Highway 64.
It's funny, I was struggling to slow the I don't know, what's it called again? Skymaster. I was trying to struggling to slow it down earlier because obviously it's a big heavy lump and it has lots of momentum, and drag doesn't really defeat that. And
you can dump your flaps at 160.
I was going to say, there's a label in the cockpit. You can pretty much put your wheels down at any speed in the Skymaster. But it brought to mind what someone said on the flight the other week, that when they were learning to fly, and their instructor said that your last resort is basically to hold the door open with your foot.
I can see that.
What's that, an air brake?
Yeah, just hold the door. If they've got a passenger door next to your pilot position, hold it open with your foot, and that will slow you down nicely. I was playing with one of the black square aeroplanes the other day, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why something wasn't working, and then I noticed that one of the breakers had popped. I plugged it back in and everything came back to normal. It was like a magic trick.
Is that why my generator off and annunciator light is on, Jonathan? Because I can't find any reason as to why it is.
Yeah, go and check them, and check the failures in the black square aeroplanes. They've got failures, haven't they, in the weather radar?
That's right, they have.
The one that's really fascinating to me, I think it's the 310, the Cessna 310. I forget who makes it. Is it Blackbird? It used to be Milviz.
Yes, it is, yep.
Yeah, that has an option where you can have kind of a club-owned aircraft where you're not entirely sure what state it's been left in.
Yeah, the rental one, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's sort of, taking it up, and it's a little bit of a trip into the unknown. You have to kind of do a full checklist, really, on the ground before you fly it.
Yeah, I think there's an auction option. It's an auction as well, where you...
Yeah. Where some of it just might be inoperative, end of story.
Yeah.
I think that gets dirty over time as well, that plane.
It does.
Have you got that one installed, or are you not?
Not at the moment, no.
So we're heading for the Memphis beacon, then straight to the airport, and that should take us over Graceland, should it?
Apparently so. Well, close enough, yeah. It should be to our right as we go between the two.
trying to find it marked on LittleNavMap. I can't see it anywhere.
It's just to the left of Memphis International, next to the ILS beam of runway 09. Next to the main road, just south of the big road junction.
Okay, I'm looking.
So just west of Memphis International.
If you zoom in close enough, you can see the parking lots for it.
I did a flight ages ago and spent I was looking for the Alamo, and I spent ages circling, and I had to go and actually look up photographs of it on the internet, and I was expecting it to be much bigger and more grand than it actually was.
I remember I was online with you that day.
Yeah, I had to go and look up photos. As soon as I had photos, what I saw in the sim actually matched up with it, but it's kind of hidden away in a corner of the city.
And there's a lot of trees around it and that.
This year, remember the Alamo?
I keep thinking to do live streams and stuff, I ought to go and visit some of the big kind of famous places around the world. Pick out some landmarks.
Visit all the IKEA stores.
That's a good idea for a trip, the IKEA tour.
So we have meatballs halfway.
No, that's a McDonald's tour.
If I do that though, I'll have to start calling it its proper name, because it's IKEA, isn't it? It's not IKEA.
IKEA.
So if you go and visit the Porsche factory, and it's FA Porsche.
Yeah, but IKEA's the English version.
It's been fascinating actually to see them slowly trying to change the language. So as the adverts have progressed over the years, they've more prominently called it IKEA.
They've done that, haven't they? Because it always used to be Nestle's Milky Bar, and now it's Nestle and things like that.
Hyundai.
Yeah, Hyundai's a good example.
Yeah.
And Xiaomi with the phones. And Huawei as well.
Nike and Nike.
Yep. Yeah, because the god is Nike, isn't it? Right, I'm about 7 miles out, so I'm just approaching the international airport. It's just the other side of it.
For upcoming flights, it looks like Emmanuel's cooking something up for us for the 28th on next Sunday, and I've got a plan for February the 4th, which is the reverse trip through the Grand Canyon at low altitude and high speed. So at least we'll get to see some mountains instead of flat.
And I can confirm we'll see many mountains next week, or volcanoes more exactly. Next week we're gonna, because you know we care for this planet at VirtualFlight.Online, so we are recycling flight plan we did 2 years ago. So the flight plan next week was actually done 2 years ago. It's on Réunion Island. It's a bit more volcanic than what we see here.
That was an amazing flight. I remember that one.
Who doesn't? It was tremendous.
What day is that?
It's next Sunday.
Great.
And so I'll just need to check that there was some specific add-ons airports, but even if you are flying on Xbox, there is no problem to do the flight without them. We only use them for touch and go. I will provide all the details during the week on the event channel.
Has anybody ever been to Dyer's here in Memphis?
Was that the sound of tumbleweed blowing past?
No, actually, instead of frying their burgers, they cook them in grease. And it is the mother grease that is over 100 years old.
Yeah, they're deep fried.
Yep, full of vitamin G.
Yeah, gee, I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon in the loo.
Yeah, they'll make your arteries good and hard.
A huge rail yard down there.
So Memphis International is pretty big, isn't it?
Eeny, meeny, miny, more.
Yeah, I'm going to exercise bad form and buzz the tower in my Beechcraft.
I just thought that.
Right. So I have no idea what I'm looking for to identify as Graceland, but I'll circle the area and have a good look.
It's about a mile west of the start of runway 18 right.
Yeah, I'm on top of it on the map. I'm just looking around, trying to get my bearings.
Yeah, so I think it's just trees. I don't think it's well modelled, from what I've heard.
You're going to see outlines of Elvis's planes on the ground too. I mean, that'll be something else to
Yeah,
look
I think
for.
I can see it already. It's the curated bit of trees in the middle, isn't it, there?
Just gonna buzz the tower.
Maybe somebody can make a small donation to Microsoft and get them to do a better job than that.
It's probably something on .to, isn't there, for it?
I think there is.
Yeah, this was one of those at the last minute I thought, oh, Memphis. Oh, Graceland. I wonder if. Yeah, sure. I'll just go ahead and add it to the flight plan.
Just switch the helicopter. I'm gonna go land on it.
What's those white marks in the river?
Oh, there's an Audi.
Was that an Audi or an Aldi?
ALDI. That's in the shop. Just saw it on John's LittleNavMap.
Yeah, you can definitely see the planes down there, can't you?
Yeah, I guess unless you've seen photos of it, it's difficult to know which buildings are which, isn't it?
Gear down.
Apologies to everyone for running long today. Not sure where we lost the time.
That's right.
It's all right, Joe. I'm retired, and I got the day ahead of me, so
I'm going to go
It's
off.
honest- You're not cutting into my sleep time.
I'm going to go and have a peek at downtown Memphis while we're here.
Yeah, I'm not sure anything is really visible. I just checked against LittleNavMap where it is supposed to be. Did a few checks and nothing really stands out for Graceland.
Yeah, the pyramid looks decent. It's next to the bridge on the river.
Yeah, I can just see that in the distance.
Yeah, it's a huge building. You guys heard about the caravan to 208 that did an emergency landing yesterday?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Quite incredible. Full airplane and low visibility. Right after takeoff, she lost the engine. I don't know if it was a he or she, but and landed on the highway and didn't hit any cars, nothing. Everything with it went perfect. He broke the landing gear off the right-hand side, and well, so it's pretty big damage. But then everyone just stepped out. It's wonderful.
The first
The one where she was reporting her position to be near the Wendy's.
Yeah, in Aldi, yeah. I was flying in their livery the first half of the trip.
Yeah, I got it through, what's his name, that Broncolerio channel. He's very quick at reporting all these accidents and incidents.
Yeah, the pyramid is quite good.
Not a mountain here as far as the eyes can see.
They're further east.
Yeah, much further east.
Yeah.
What is it used for? Just for shows, concerts, or is it a hotel?
You mean the pyramid?
Yeah, the pyramid here in Memphis.
I don't know.
Probably a hotel.
There's a rail yard just west that's just massive, totally massive.
The Memphis Grizzlies, I think, use that as their stadium, and I think there is a university in Memphis that also uses that building for their basketball. I think the Grizzlies left town, so they're not playing there anymore.
They couldn't bear it.
They were appalling.
I'm an awful lot of bear with a sore head.
Oh dear.
No one would pander to their needs.
Well, if we're going through, I was going to say, if we're going for the bad puns again, I'm going to chuck another Elvis one out there.
Go on then.
Well, it's becoming unbearable.
He used to be friends with Marcel Marceau, but then he got deeply distrusting of him because he didn't like suspicious mimes.
That was a honey of a joke.
What's the punchline?
Yes.
Okay, looks like runway 17 then at West Memphis.
110.7 localizer.
Degrees.
Well, I think I'll do a Harrison Ford.
Taxiway.
Yep.
I was unsure until I saw the pappy lights, and then I thought, that's the one.
I was contemplating landing on the interstate. But since this is on YouTube, we'll keep it all proper.
I don't want anything grisly to happen.
How did the bear fix his tooth? He went to the dentist.
What's the best time to go to the dentist?
2:30.
Why are dentists always sad? They're always looking down in the mouth.
This is like the dad joke world championships now, isn't it?
It's a bit like Pac-Man. Someone's eating the power pill, I think.
Have they done away with the planes disappearing when you're very close to them thing?
You can turn it on and off in the settings.
Yeah, I don't think I've turned mine on or off, but I just don't get them disappearing anymore.
Yeah, I've noticed planes that come near me this evening have disappeared. awful lot of planes here.
There is, yeah.
Get off the runway quick.
I reckon
Too late.
I have to park on the grass.
There's a lot of planes here, right?
Somebody in a chopper.
Where is the parking manager?
He resigned.
Last seen running out the gate.
It's Specsavers.
I brought a helicopter because it's easier for parking.
That was a good flight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, really good. Thanks.
Great flight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Many
Thanks for the entertainment.
Apologies for the bad jokes.
No, that's not forgiven.
No apologies for the puns.
I'm going to pull a plug, so see you all next week. Bye.
Yeah, I'm going to end the live stream here as well.
See ya.
I'll take care.
Good night, everybody.
See you next week.